him,
Yeah.
he was going to go mighty close.
Cabral de Bath and broke my heart.
Oh, I can imagine, Niall, if you were on him and Punters at home, well, he travelled into it, he jumped so well, just couldn't get up the hill.
No. Be interesting to see where it goes. With a good entry hurdle with him.
Dan was keen to possibly pull plug,
right,
and stop the season there. I think he felt he had a hard race, which understandably so. He hit the line very slowly, but an immensely talented horse, and you think even if they stay over hurdles next year, he's going to do plenty of winning.
Nutshell, what else you're looking forward to today?
What am I looking forward to? I think that the opening race is fantastic.
Well, he's got 9.
Yeah, he's got 9, but you feel like Selma de Very could be very special, proactive as well. Adam Nichols got a massive runner with Manella Study as well, and I think Dan Skelton's got a great chance with Maestro Conti. Quite fancy Gavin Cromwell's only by night in the mare's chase.
Right. They're hitting form now.
They are hitting form, yeah, and I just feel like it's an open race. So many good mares in that race. Dino Blue last year's winner, Panic Attack. There's plenty in there that could throw up a good performance. And
we're looking forward to bringing you every race live here on Racing TV once again. It's time for us to introduce another member of the team. He's on track a couple of days ago. He's now in the studio. It's a good morning to Anthony Dunkley. Hi, Anthony.
Hello, Niall. Hello, Josh. Hello, everyone. You've made it. The end of a stamina test that is the 2026 Cheltenham Festival, and we've saved the best till last. Such an open Gold Cup, the most open for years as well, with challengers from either sides of the Irish Sea as well, both with big chances. There are 7 more races to go, 3 more Grade 1s, Premier Handicaps aplenty, and you're in the best seat in the house. So join us along for the ride. Let's have a look at exactly what you can look forward to. On day 4 of the Cheltenham Festival, it's been a fantastic week so far for Willie Mullins. Feels like we say that every year, but it is true. He rattled the crossbar plenty yesterday, seconds aplenty. Well, he's got 9 of the 20 lining up in the Triumph, which kicks off our card. Sponsored by JCB, it's the 4-year-old championship, and 1:20 the start time, as it has been all week. Then we're on to the William Hill County Hurdle Premier Handicap over the same trip. That's at 2 o'clock. At 2:40, the Mrs. Paddy Power Mare's Chase, going to be a crucial race, some would think, for the Irish to get one back from the British. Currently 11:10 in the Prestbury Cup. When was the last time we said that? And that's over an extended 2.5 miles. The Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle, the staying championship for the novice hurdlers, that's at 3:20. And a perfect aperitif for the big one, the blue ribbon of the National Hunt season, the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup Chase. It's the Grade 1 feature at 4 o'clock. Then at 4:40, the Hunters take centre stage for the Princess Royal Challenge Cup Open Hunters Chase. That's over the Gold Cup trip. And we close with the boys and girls race, the Martin Pipe Conditional Jockeys Handicap Hurdle. It's at 5:20. Just Hamlet's Night, a non-runner to bring you so far out of the County Hurdle at 2 o'clock. And while we've got plenty to look forward to on the channel this afternoon, so do we have on the website as well. That's been the case all week. We've spoken to Harry Allwood and some other members of the team. Well, they've been working tirelessly behind the scenes. And if you've missed any of the action, whether it's at Cheltenham or elsewhere, you've doubtless missed something, an interview here or there. We've got it all, racingtv.com. Plenty of content for today as well. Our tipsters have been in fantastic form. Hopefully that continues today. racingtv.com/tips for what you might want to be backing throughout the course of the afternoon, and other great content as well in our news section. So, lots to look forward to, including the Cheltenham Challenge. This has been in play all week as well. You can win daily prizes just by playing the free-to-play game that is the Cheltenham Challenge. You enter for free at racingtv.com/games, or if you're so inclined, scan that QR code at the bottom right of your screen. Something for nothing, play the Cheltenham Challenge, and you can win daily prizes. Right, over we go to the track. It's glad to hear a little bit of rain has come for the track, but we look set fair for a wonderful final day of the 2026 Cheltenham Festival as we hand back to Rachel, who's been joined by Lisa O'Neill and James Millman.
Thank you, Anthony. Yes, looking forward to today, and over 60,000 racegoers will be coming through the gates in the next couple of hours, and what a grand finale we have in store. And indeed, delighted to be joined by James and Lisa. How are we all? How do we pull out this morning? How's the week been, Lisa?
Yeah, good. Ready for the big day ahead, the last day of the festival. It's been a fantastic festival so far. There's been a bit of rain overnight, so obviously there's been a bit of change in the going as well, so that'll suit suit some, it mightn't suit others, but welcome rain nonetheless, I think, for plenty of people. But it's been a fantastic festival so far. Some big priced winners, probably some punters burned as well, but we have a fantastic day to look forward to.
Oh, we really do. And talking about big prize winners, how have you got on this week,
the Cheltenham handicappers have probably saved me. Madara and Supreme New West, who, as Lisa said earlier on, was supremely well handicapped. The open races, not quite had the luck of the draw. Hopefully today changes that.
I like how close it is. We're all talking about the festival coming into it, you know, it's so open, and we've got that. I think, what, is there one between them now? England, Great Britain and Ireland. I love that. I think it's brilliant for racing.
It's very competitive. It's so tight. Obviously, it'll all, I suppose, hinge on how today fares out. But look, Willie Mullins goes into today with some unbelievable chances, and we have an ultra competitive Gold Cup that we'll discuss in detail later on as well. But
it's going to be great.
Yeah, the Pressbury Cup, very interesting.
Yeah, and talking of yesterday, I mean, it was a good day for the Brits, and I mean, Meet Me by the Sea, that was a big winner for the Ben Pauling team. I'm sure they celebrated that in style.
Yeah, a horse that had progressed really nicely through the ranks. First time back at an intermediate trip, I think, was the key. He was a bit outclassed at Newbury last time out in the game spirit behind Lalamba and co. Prominent ride, though, which has been the key for most of the races over the first 3 days. Maybe the rain that fell last night might not make that such a premium for day 4. Ben Jones, I was glad for him, because Sober Glory, when you're leading into the final hurdle and it all goes wrong in the first race, it's kind of a what if, what would have happened if he'd actually jumped that last well. So it's good redemption for him. And for Ben Pauling, local trainer, he had a strong hand, so he's got one winner on the board before today's big day.
I thought I'd come to James on that one, because he was saving Woodoo, and what a saving grace this mare's been.
Yeah.
She's done it again, hasn't she?
Yeah, she is phenomenal. She's so consistent, she's so reliable, she's so quick and slick over her hurls as well. And to be honest, look, plenty of Gordons have run well, some maybe a little bit disappointing, but I mean, looking at her in the final 100 yards, I thought the line wouldn't come quick enough for her, but Jade DeGrugy looked like she was coming back. But I think Woodoo is just one of those mares who, when she gets to the front, she does what she has to do, and she's just phenomenal. And I actually personally, I suppose I nearly forgot that Jack Hendy didn't ride a winner at the festival here last year, and it was fantastic for him getting on board Woodoo. She's ultra consistent.
Yeah, well, that was the winner yesterday, and sticking with Gordon Elliott, what's the mood like? I mean, among the team, obviously great to get Woodoo winning yesterday, but I mean, is it tense? I mean, what exactly is it like?
No, I think it's much better. I think boosted since Woodoo obviously went back into the winners' enclosure. Like, there's so many horses come over here, and you've so much big expectation, so much hype, so many reputations as well. And we were hoping we'd get a day 1 off to a good start. That didn't happen. It was a long day 2, but day 3 was saved with Woodoo, I have to say. And plenty of chances yet again today. You know, some big priced ones that could actually run extremely well as well. So
they're
fingers
hard to
crossed.
come by, though, aren't they? Winners at the Cheltenham Festival, let's be fair.
Yeah, and Home by Ali, 5th time lucky. It's on the lines going for 4th time lucky in the Fox Unders later on. But it was a cracking result in the Stayers hurdle for him, because I must admit, I thought age had probably overtaken him. It was a Stayers where it was so open. I think the ground probably went against Tiapu. Cabado Matan, you knew he had so much ability to lead at the last and not move a muscle and only finish 4th. That petrol tank emptied so quickly. Bob Bollinger, what a wonderful horse he is once again up the hill. He ran on for a bit of place money. But Joseph O'Brien and his team to keep that horse in his prime. He's the winningmost horse out of that yard, and one that's been quirky. Lisa, normally horses like that, they will give up the ghost. They won't keep coming back for more. Yeah,
I couldn't agree anymore. I think it was a phenomenal training performance, because he is a tricky horse, and JJ7...
They called him a hooligan, I think.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, because he has such a talent and ability, but there's days he can go out and just decide, today's not going to be my day, but yesterday was his day, and yeah, he's so good when everything goes right for him.
It's a great story, it really is. And actually, Joseph O'Brien said to them, you know, I mean, I think I've done everything I can with this horse. Maybe you should send him elsewhere, kind of new environment might freshen him up. Like, you'd never guess that they'd obviously be able to find the key and to win it. I mean, how many times had he tried? 5 times?
Yeah, you know, it's to come back and try it yet again and again and again after things don't work out. I know, obviously, he made a bad mistake here a couple of years ago, and that put paid to his chances. He went to Aintree last year, and he was a no-show as well. But look, they've they've kept the faith and the belief in this horse, and as I said, like when he everything goes right for him and he shows up on the day, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, listen, keep kicking, keep trying, and you just never know, and that's what they've done. Right, the Ryanair, I mean, there's a lot of drama. There's been a lot of drama all week, hasn't it? Lots of different side stories, obviously, with the lads, the jockeys making up yesterday, the big stunt, which I thought was gas, but also the ground. Willie Mullins, JP McManus and Factifal not running in the Ryanair, the biggest star on day 3, out.
Yeah, that was a shame, because that's taken the headlines probably from the wider media as well, because he was the star of the show, and it's a little bit harsh on Cheltenham because the forecast wasn't kind to them in that respect. He's a horse we saw in the King George. The fast ground isn't for him. It was loose on the top, I think, yesterday. I think it probably was a little bit quick underneath. It left a very open race, and I was delighted for Henry de Romhead to get that winner with Hartwood, because it gets tougher and tougher every year at Cheltenham. This horse was a clear second best last year, and ultimately, if Factifile had turned up, probably Factifile would have won. But he's very honest, very consistent, and I thought it was a lovely effort.
Great for Darragh O'Keefe as well. I mean, he's filling the boots of the phenomenal Rachel Blackmore, who we've seen come into the winners' enclosure at Cheltenham repeatedly, again and again and again, and they're big boots to fill. But Darragh is an unbelievable rider, and he's really excelled in the role that he has with Henry. But it's fantastic for both Henry and himself, and of course Rob Corr as well, who had a couple of disappointments in the Stayers Hurl earlier on the day. But Hartwood, he seemed to love that ground. He was in the right position the whole time as well, and Darragh put Nico in a little bit of a pocket there, turning for home, and I think that really that paid dividends too.
Yeah, very much so.
And John Bon again, second for the 4th time, Supreme, the Arc with the champion, and now the Ryanair. He's an amazing horse. Cheltenham just doesn't quite fall his way.
No, but he's won here. It's not the course of the track, but it's just the festival. But listen, he's 12th time Grade 1 winner. We'll let him off. But yeah, it was a great race, wasn't it? I loved the reception that Darragh got, actually.
Yeah,
all the jockeys. You can just see how popular and how big that win was.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Darragh's a very popular guy in the weigh room, you know, and to watch him, I suppose, grow up. He's come through the pony racing ranks, and I suppose excel in the role that he is in with Henry now, and to come back into that winner's enclosure is a big deal. And there's been plenty of roars throughout the week that have really, I suppose, given you a tingle in your spine, but it just, yeah, look, it makes the heart skip a beat, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll have all of that, you know, those great feelings, big stories, and maybe a few fairy tale success for a few of our participants on Gold Cup Day. Right, blue skies, it's a little bit windy, but it's dry. We've had the rain. Let's see what it's done to the ground. Let's head out and join Niall Hannity.
Back out on the track, it's time to get a going update with John Pullen after, what, 12 mils, 2 in the afternoon, 10 overnight?
That's correct, yes. So most of the forecasts were suggesting certainly between 5 and 10, and a lot of them were suggesting nearer the double-digit figure, so very much as forecast last night.
So it's good to soft in the chase course, good to soft in the hurdle course?
That's correct, yes. So chase course fractionally better, so we've opened up this inside line that we save for today. So it's not been raced on, so just a little bit better ground on the inside there.
So you have 6 yards of fresh ground the whole way around the chase course?
Yeah, that's it. So we saved this ground. The last time this was raced on was May. We've obviously got the Mayor's Chase beforehand, but you know, it's a race that we know historically would only have sort of 7, 8, 9 runners, 9 this year. So they'll be the only hoof prints on it before the Gold Cup.
Forecast for this afternoon? Breezy?
Yeah, it's a little bit breezy. Certainly nothing wind-wise like we had yesterday, but mainly dry. We might catch the odd shower, but nothing really significant volume-wise.
Talking about yesterday, enjoyable days racing. Willie Mullins was quite vocal about Factifile coming out on the ground. Yeah,
so obviously we were as disappointed as everybody that he didn't run. You know, we were good to soft in places yesterday. Took the decision to put the 4mm of irrigation on Wednesday night, knowing that we'd got this rain coming last night for today. What we were aiming for, and what we always aim for, is good safe ground. Felt that we'd done that with the 4mm. We were 117 declarations and just 3 came out on the ground, so I think, you know, we were happy with where we were.
Yeah, if you'd got them numbers every day of the week, you'd be happy?
Very.
Today, any chance of rain later on, or is it dry day?
It's mainly dry. There is just this risk of a shower around, but hopefully it won't amount to too much volume.
Good stuff. Thanks for open all week, and I hope the today goes as well as the last 3 days. It's been really enjoyable racing.
Yeah, it's been fantastic racing throughout the week, and you know, we're hoping for much the same today. Really competitive. You know, that's what we want from the festival, is, you know, real quality and competitive racing. And we've seen that throughout the week, and hopefully more of the same today.
Absolutely. Wish you well.
Thanks very much, Niall.
John Pullen, clerk of the course. I bet he'll sleep well once this is all over. One more day to go, though, and the feature race at 4 o'clock, the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. The Irish have run riot with the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup in the last 10 years. It's only Native River for the home team who has managed to make any sizable dent. That was back in 2018. I know the way you're thinking, he's back for more. He broke the track record last year by winning this. A Galop under Champ dual winner in 2024-23. A Plus Tard giving Rachel Blackmore her championship moment at Cheltenham. Minella Indo for Jack Kennedy coming in for that ride. He is in action once again. Paul Townend and Willie Mullins teaming up with Album Photo for 2020 and 2019 respectively. Native River, that strong staying performance ahead of Mike Bite in 2018. Sizing John, 2017 winner, popular winner for Robbie Power and Jesse Harrington. And Don Cossack in that dramatic 2016 renewal where Q-Card came down a couple of fences from home, giving Brian Cooper his best day in the saddle. Gordon Elliott as well represented in this year's event. So what of this year's field? Let's take you through the runners and riders for the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup of 2026. Number 1, Envoy Allen. What a legend he's been. He's at the ripe old age of 12. He is a 10-time Grade 1 winner. 3 festival wins. He bids for more success here. Firefox, unexposed at the trip, you could definitely say. Gordon Elliott and Jack Kennedy looking for a second win in the race. Firefox could be anything category, probably does need to improve. Gaelic Warrior, where he needs to settle. The pace of the race is going to be key to him. Rich Ritchie and Susanna Ritchie bidding to become the first owners to win the Champion and the Gold Cup in the same year. Gold Tweet looking to become only the second French horse in history to take the Gold Cup. Gabriel Leander, the trainer. Clement Lefebvre has only raced once at Cheltenham before. That was on the cross-country course. Grey Dawning, potentially the forgotten horse of the race for the Skeltons. They've had a great week. Grey Dawning bound to improve for that Cotswold Chase run. Haiti Calor, well, what is he going to find at the top level? He's had one go at it. That was, of course, in the Betfair Chase. He blew out them, but his back class is clear. The Irish Grand National winner and National Chase winner of last year. I know the way you're thinking. I've no idea what he's thinking. We'll find out at 4 o'clock. Gavin Cromwell for Mark Walsh with the reigning champ. And Django Bai expected to really relish this step up and trip. Here he was with a last scuff success in the Arkle last year. Good trial run as well for him. L'Homme Pressé, good trial for himself as well. Venetia Williams and Charlie Deutsch with that all-important festival winner earlier in the week with Marta Tour taking the Grand Annual. Spillans Tower, he's on ground watch. Jimmy Mangan with Harry Cobden taking over from Jack Kennedy, who you can see on board here taking one of the key trials, British trials at least, the Cotswold Chase. And the Jukebox Man, Ben Pauling, and Ben Jones looking to cap an excellent week and a crowning moment for them as well. So a lot to look forward to. So open, 7-2 co-favourites of 3. Gaelic Warrior, Django Bai and the Jukebox Man. Haiti Calor, 13-2. The reigning champ, I know the way you're thinking, 17-2. And then there's a gap to the remainder. Grey Dawning and Spillans Tower, lively each way chances at 16-1. Firefox, 28-1's come in for a bit of support. 40s available around earlier. Envoy Allen, the old boy, the roof would come down if he was to crown his career with a Cheltenham Gold Cup success. L'Homme Pressé, another old boy in here, 50-1. And Gold Tweet flying the flag for the French, 100-1. Let's have a look at a little bit closer at the Jukebox Man. As you can see here, the King George winner and seemingly holding a key form line. Is he absolutely nailed on to confirm those places? Very hard to say, but what we do know is he's an improving chaser himself. As he showed at Haydog, as he showed at the King George, and connections have wanted to keep him good and fresh ahead of his date with Destiny.
Racing up towards the line, it is the Jukebox Man who rocked home to win the Ladbrokes Porto Star.
They're all all dancing to the tune of the Jukebox Man, and it could be Kempton next, a dominant win in the graduation.
Over the final fence, Banbridge a nose in front, Gaelic Warrior to the inside, the Jukebox Man racing up towards the line in a head-bobbing finish.
Well, it'd be a very big story, wouldn't it? Obviously, the connections, you know, football fans, everyone would be getting in on the act. And I feel that with this race, this time round, the Gold Cup, that the King George could be absolutely key.
Yeah, it really is. It's a massive bit of form lines that bring us into the Gold Cup. Obviously, we've got so many horses reopposing, Gaelic Warrior, Django Bay, and obviously the winner in that Jukebox Man, who was extremely good on the day. But obviously that was different conditions. It was good ground. It was Kempton. We've very different conditions today, softer, 3 mile 2, and obviously completely different track. For me, I actually quite like Django Bay in this. Obviously, the Jukebox Man is the eventual winner. He's nice and prominent at this stage. Django Bay, I thought maybe just gets the third last wrong and the second last. He's just not clean and quick over them. Gaelic Warrior on the inside starts to come under pressure from Paul Townend. But you can see Django Bay trying very hard. He just gets in tight to that one a little bit as well. But he was coming home best of all, I thought, James. But obviously, it's the Jukebox Man who does get headed, but he does battle back as well.
Yeah, I was on Django Bay in the King George. It's a bit of a painful watch watching him again. He was just slightly out of his comfort zone. I think that's why he ended up 3-4 wide for most of the contest, and he was trying to get a bit of daylight to help his jumping. And as you've mentioned, all at the home straight, it just wasn't quite slick enough. For a horse that won the Arco, I know the Marlborough jumping fell apart like it did in the Champion, and stamina was the key. Is he quite good enough? All four in a line, nothing really excelled, and it might be other form lines could come to the fore, despite the fact they are dominating the markets.
Okay. Does Nicky Henderson think he's good enough to land a Gold Cup? Let's find out. He's with Josh Stacey.
Django Bay went in Group 2, and obviously he's going to go to the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Is he exactly where you want him now to the King George?
I think that's why we were here. It's what he's done, and I'd like to think that's exactly where we'd like to be, yeah.
Looking at that run in the King George, what makes you think that the extra 2 furlongs at Cheltenham and the stiff hill will be right up his street?
Well, I just think the whole track is different. I mean, I love Kempton. I think everybody knows that. It's a great place. But it's totally it's the polar opposite to Cheltenham. This is flat, almost certainly sort of quicker ground, if you like, quicker soft ground, and Cheltenham is soft ground. And you've got hills and dales and everything around Cheltenham, and a bit of this and that, and here you've got quite a speedy track. And to be fair, the extraordinary thing is Django won an Arkle last year. How, nobody will know. He certainly isn't a 2-miler. He got away with it. It was a most remarkable performance, wasn't it? But without the hill, it wouldn't have happened.
Given that he won an Arkle, he hit the hill so strongly, he flew up it last year. That was over 2 miles. I know there's another furlong and another mile and 2 furlongs, sorry, in the Gold Cup. But does it give you a bit of hope that he will relish that challenge of the hill?
I think it does, yeah. I mean, he was finishing the King George very strongly. He was finishing work very strongly today. There's no doubt. It's hard to say the further you go, the better you go. But, I mean, he definitely is seeing it out very, very well. You'd have to think and hope, obviously, that Cheltenham will suit him.
Well, Cheltenham has suited him before. He's won the Arkle, and I always watch this race, guys, and I think, how has he won this? But he did.
Yeah, and you often think, how did Marlborough lose it? Yeah. Marlborough makes bad mistake here, but so does Django Bay. You can see he gallops through the top of the second last. And he looks, I think, James, at one point in time, like even at the 3-out when he made a mistake, like he was going to fall out of the back of the screen. But how he comes home so strongly, I think is really encouraging considering what he's taking on today.
He has an excellent attitude.
He does. He's a real trier, isn't he?
Really standing him in good stuff. My only worry is even at the Gold Cup trip, if he keeps making those slight mistakes, you've got to get into a rhythm. And I'm not sure Django Bay can actually get into that kind of rhythm. That's why I was just slightly disappointed at the King George. I know it's another step up in trip. Stamina test will suit him, but he's got to get into a rhythm. And the slight bit of rain, it might make it more testing for him. It'll be interesting.
I wonder, will the slower ground maybe just help him get into a little bit of a rhythm? For me, I kind of put it down to in Kempton for the fact that it was good ground, quick track, that he just got tapped for toe and hit a bit of a flat spot. So I think maybe the slower ground and the more stamina test will help him maybe just settle in, get comfortable into a rhythm.
Yeah. I think all the chat in the media centre today, this morning, is like, right, all this rain, you know, who is it going to suit? You mentioned Django Bauer. What about Gaelic Warrior? Will it be in his favour? I feel it might be.
I don't really know what Gaelic Warrior actually likes, to be honest. It's just what kind of frame of mind he wakes up in.
I don't know if he knows what he likes himself.
Yeah, he's just such that DRF where he lost it in the paddock. He ran absolutely no sort of race. In his defence, he's actually been relatively consistent since then. He's not actually thrown any shockers in. I do think he was a little bit unfortunate in King George. Losing the stick didn't quite help with him. Not much room on the inside. I thought he ran an absolute cracker in the DRF. And the win earlier on in the season, back in November, was remarkable, bearing in mind how keen he was. Just how keen is he going to be today over the 3.5?
Yeah, and I think that's the key part to him, because he is a horse that probably does more things wrong than he does right in a race. And the fact that he can be keen, he can get lit up. If he's going to do something like that today, he's no chance of getting home over 3 Mile 2. I do think he's got the stamina, but it's if he gets settled and if he gets relaxed. Paul Townend, obviously minus Galopin Des Champs today, takes over the reins on Gaelic Warrior. So, like, I do think that he's got stamina in abundance, but he just has to switch off. He has to settle. He has to relax and get into a rhythm. And he has to show that he's good enough to win a Gold Cup. But he's currently top of the market at the moment.
Yeah, and he's been strong all week, actually, hasn't he? And what a week it's been already for Rich Ritchie and Susanna, obviously, with Lossy Mouth. That was just incredible. He's so desperate for a Gold Cup.
Yeah, a pace scenario could well be key for how well he settles, because we've only really got IT Claire as the confirmed front runner. We always talk about a Gold Cup run at a searching pace, and then stamina really comes to the fore. But I don't see that scenario evolving this time around. And the Ryanair, he's an easy horse to ride in the Ryanair, because you can really let him bowl along at his speed. But I do feel quicker, yeah. If he is too keen early on, he's not going to get up the hill today.
If he gets up this morning and he's feeling great, Gaelic Warrior, this is, and everything, the very best of Gaelic Warrior, is he the best in the race?
He's the most talented.
Is he the best horse in the race?
I think he is. He's an unbelievable engine, and like what we've seen him do in the past and what we've seen him do wrong and still win as well, we know that he's an unbelievable talent on his day. I think it's just a question about what kind of form he's going to show up in, what kind of... It's all about getting settled, I think, yeah. Yeah,
and obviously the tempo, which is just so important, isn't it? Last year's winner, what's going on? What's happening? He's very well fancied, really well fancied. He hardly lifted a leg, but they've got cheap pieces on, which might help. We've seen it a couple of times this week already, haven't we, James? Yeah,
look, his profile in previous campaigns have been he's transformed here at Cheltenham. The issue I have of a handicapper, I assume that's going to be the case, because you need to be off the right mark to win a handicap. Last year, he ran better in each previous trial than what he has done this time around, which is a slight worry. I know he does improve as the season goes on, but this year has been a disaster. Last year, supplemented for the race, the Guy National was what he was being aimed at until, what, 2 weeks before the actual contest. Galopin Des Champs, I think the ground was a little bit too quick for him, trying to get the hat-trick last year. He's hit the line strong. We've just mentioned earlier on how much that takes out of a horse, and has it taken too much out of him? Is that why he's not performing this year?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think obviously this is a race that does take an awful lot out of horses, and I don't think we can underestimate how good Galopin Des Champs has been to come here and do it again and again. But obviously, look, I know the way you're thinking. There's good vibes from the Gavin Cromwell camp, who've had a winner already during the week with final orders in the cross-country race.
I think a lot of them have been running well. I mean,
yeah, they have. Will the Wise was second as well, and look, there's been good vibes from the camp that this horse seems to have turned a corner. He'll need to turn a big corner, because what we've seen of him so far this year has been nothing to what we expected of him. First time cheek pieces on him as well today. Obviously, Mark Walsh had to make a decision as to who he was going to ride in this race. Was it going to be the reigning champion? Was it going to be the potential, the up-and-coming Spillane Tower? But he stuck with I know the way you're thinking, and that's another vote of confidence. But it's hard to see. For me, I didn't think he jumped performed well at all before he was a casualty at the final fence in Leopardstown the last day.
Yeah, he's never looked happy this campaign at all.
Be some turnaround, wouldn't it?
It'd be an unbelievable training performance. Yeah.
The only thing would be that the market's strong, but also Gavin Cromwell did have a very poor start to the season. The horses just weren't right. It was a 1 from 60 strike rates. It may have just been he himself wasn't right. But I'm slightly surprised with a Grade 1 horse that you'd even run them if you didn't think they were going to at least show something, which he hasn't so far. But again, as a Gold Cup, he had 3 in a line in the King George. He was well clear the rest in the Gold Cup 12 months ago. So if he repeats that performance, he'll win. It's just what level he's running at. Nobody really knows.
He was brilliant last year. I'd love to see him run well, because I think it's a great shame. You know, it's good that he's come back, and fingers crossed he runs a good race. What do we make of Haiti Killor, a dual national winner?
He's
Welsh
a phenomenal
national, Irish national.
Yeah, what a servant he's been for Rebecca Curtis. Like, he is obviously taking a step higher level today, taking on some of these top class Grade 1 performers. But we've seen him again and again. This was him in the National Hunt Chase last year when he was very, very good. He has bags and bags of stamina. He loves to get into a rhythm at the front end. There's no doubt he's going to be a pace angle in the race with Sean Bowen on. It will be an unbelievable story. Like, he's done so little wrong in his career so far, but it's just, has he got the class for this?
I'd say a real classy Gold Cup, maybe not. I don't know if this is that type of renewal.
What he loves. The speed as well? Is that another question?
Because there's no real pace pressure at the moment on paper. He loves undulating tracks. Chepstow, when you go down the hill there, it is steep. Every time he comes here, he loves the place. I think flat tracks don't particularly play to his strengths, and I think Newbury last time he won. He did it with a minimum first, but I'm not sure that saw him to his strengths. Haydock he hates. He's been there a couple of times in no shows. Back at Fairyhouse, huge field. The way Sean Bowen was able to ride him prominently early and get across and do it so easily, to me that just shows you he's much better than the handicapper. And Native River destroyed the field in a Welsh National. I think he's in a similar mould to him. I'm not sure it's as strong a Gold Cup as what Native River won. So I'm stronger on his chances now than what I would have been 6 weeks ago.
Grey Dawning, representing the Skelton team. Dan has said, listen, this horse is as good as he can be. We're going there with, you know, him in the best condition, and if he doesn't win it this year, he'll never win a Gold Cup. So I think this is just the question, is he going to be good enough? This is the Betfair Chase at Haydock. Yeah, he went one better in the Betfair Chase this year than what he did last year. He's a horse that won't mind any rain that's fallen, I don't think, and he'll have no problem whatsoever with the trip. Obviously, we've seen him bump into Spillane Tower here at Cheltenham in the Cotswold Chase back in January time. When he did make a bad mistake, he actually got kicked down at the start by Spillane Tower on the day, which was also not ideal, but he did make a bad mistake. I think it was a 2-out that he made the bad mistake.
He was going nicely. Harry hadn't asked a question, and then that just stopped all momentum, and Spillane's Tower was gone. He could never really get involved then, and he was beaten 5 lengths by Spillane's Tower on the day. So look, he's probably another one that I question, does he have the class to win a Gold Cup? But I have no doubt that the team will have him here primed for the day. They've already had a good week so far this season, and this would be a phenomenal success for Dan Skelton. I think he'd be certainly eyeing up the trainer's title if he could bag this. 7-2 the field for this year's Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup Chase, and a couple of outsiders we haven't really had time to talk about. You Firefox, they'll be hoping that he can get in the mix, and L'Impresse saves his best stuff for Cheltenham, and Gold Sweet then the rank outsider at 100-1. Envoy Alan, we got to talk about him. He's a 12-year-old, and not since 1969 have we seen a 12-year-old win the Gold Cup. I mean, I don't know how many have tried, but that's the stat. But what a hero, what a horse. Farewell run as well. This is going to be his swan song. Ballyadam, slightly lower grade, but he came back and ran a stormer to be 4th in the 2.5 mile handicap hurdle. Realistically, stamina's probably going to be at a premium up the hill, but I'll say he's fresh and well, and I think he'll run better than his odds suggest. I just feel he might go in a Bridle 2 out. He might not get up the hill. Yeah, I couldn't agree anymore. Look, he's a bumper winner. He's a Ballymore winner back in the day. He's a Ryanair winner as well. Could he top it all? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It's a big question. He's been a phenomenal horse for connections, but I'm sure Darragh O'Keefe will drop him in last. He'll take his time. He'll be trying to play his cards late, but what he finds off the bridle up that hill in stamina testing conditions is probably a bit of a question for me. But yeah.
you've listed all those amazing performances, all those races. Oh, he's just a total legend, isn't he? Right, final thoughts on this year's Gold Cup.
I'm going to go for Heidi Collier. I just think the undulations here at Cheltenham's right up his street. He's going to get a relative easy time on front. Sean Bowen, it might be a long wait, but he might break his festival duck in the Gold Cup.
That would be cool, wouldn't it, for him? What about yourself, Lisa?
Yeah, I think it's Django Bay for me. I think I'm going to side with him. I know he's only a 7-year-old, but he's open to plenty of improvement, and I think the stamina test will really suit him. Must give a quick mention to Spillane Tower, because we can't not mention him. He's got loads of potential and room for improvement. He's got to put in a career best today, but I think he's probably unexposed at these kind of trips.
Yeah, and he's got his ground, hasn't he? Obviously goes well here, as we've seen recently. And Jimmy Mangan, I wonder what
fairy tale
you'll have on him today.
Fairy
Can you
tale.
imagine the scenes?
Jimmy and Mary don't have a whole pile of horses in. They have a small select team at home, but this would just be written in the stars if it was to happen.
That's it. I can't wait to find out what that dream story will be, the big story and the big race, the Cheltenham Gold Cup. So that's what James and Lisa think. What about Anthony in the studio? You've got Josh Kerr for more.
Thank you, Rachel. Yes, and while some people might be feeling a bit superstitious about Friday the 13th, I don't think you probably are. It's cold, hard data for you.
Absolutely. I was born on the 13th of the month, so yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a really, really intriguing King George, Anthony, and there are definitely some clues we can glean from the data towards it. Of course, it was 2011, I make it, the last time a King George winner went on to win the Gold Cup, and ultimately that's because Kempton, a flat track, right-handed, whereas Cheltenham undulating left-handed, they are two very different things, and we potentially could see very different things as well into how the Gold Cup could be run. Let's take a look then at the King George from this year. You could throw a blanket over the finishers this day, and really the market, you're throwing a blanket over them as well. We picked them up 4 from home. And I want to really highlight the pace of this King George. They went over the first few flights very quick, but then the pace slowed up. Ben Jones was controlling the pace of this race on the front with the Jukebox Man. And you see the finishing speed percentages there. The winner above 111. And in fact, the Jukebox Man in all 4 of his chase starts and chase victories has had a finishing speed percentage above 111. So what we haven't yet seen, we don't know, he may well be able to, but what we haven't seen yet from the Jukebox Man is his ability to do this over this trip in a more truly run race. He's definitely a fast horse, he's shown plenty of boots, but what about his ability to do it over a trip like this in a tougher race? Here's some of the jumping figures for you as well, and you can see the Jukebox Man had a big advantage in the jumping stakes, particularly when you consider how closely they finished. Django Bay being the negative there, giving away what to the winner, best part of 3 lengths.
But given the inexperience of these horses and the small sample size we have, I've always thought this test, he's really going to suit Django Bay. I didn't think Kempton would. Can you give me any kind of positivity as to this horse over this test today rather than Kempton?
Well, yes, certainly he's shaped better when it's been a more truly run test, like in the 1965 at Ascot. He really relished that, albeit over a shorter trip. And his jumping in the King George, he was worse jumping when they were going that slower tempo. When the pace quickened, he did find it a bit easier. On the pace, you saw there that the finishing speed percentage for Gaelic Warrior was higher. In fact, he was quicker than the Jukebox Man in each of the last 5-6 furlongs, showing how on that day, on that really quick, good ground, just how hard it was to peg back. Now, that's been a feature of races this week at Cheltenham, horses having it nice on the front end. The thing here is, well, is the Gold Cup going to be run stronger? It wasn't very strongly run last year. That played into the strengths of, I know the way you're thinking, the finishing speed percentage that day was about 111. So he relished that. Hasn't been the same since. Gold Cups do take it out of horses. What are we looking at this year? James was alluding to the pace we might or might not have. Haiti Kalur wants a real test. Jukebox Man, will he be able to be up there and control the pace like it did in the King George? If he did, it's a big advantage. If it's a truer test, Gaelic Warrior is probably the way to go.
In a word, does the King George form hold up or have an impact in the Gold Cup?
Yes, I think it will hold up in the Gold Cup today.
There we go. Josh Kerr bringing you some of the data in and around the horses hailing from the King George in today's Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Mark your car. Proudly sponsored by Timeform.
At RaceShare, outstanding results come from sourcing quality horses.
The excitement for buying a racehorse starts right here at Tattersall Sales. Everyone has to do their homework and look for the next big thing.
We're gradually adding to the string with new recruits.
I'm very lucky to be able to have one. She's by Cracksman, she's got beautiful pedigree, so it's very exciting.
We now focus on smaller syndicates, mainly 40 and 100 shares, and will launch our first 4-share syndicate this spring.
Our Grade 1 lead-in to the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup is the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. Not fanciful to think that one day some horses might be able to do the double. Manello Indo did in 2019 under Rachel Blackmore for Henry de Bromhead. Last year's winner Jasmine DeVoe was another win in the race for Willie Mullins and carried on an Irish domination that dates back to 2019. 2018, the last British winner. Of course, Stay Away Faye in there as well in 2023. But an overall look at this is that the Irish have been fairly dominant in it as well, and the top 3 in the betting as well are from Ireland this year, including the likes of Dr. Steinberg, who is the 3-to-1 clear favourite, double the price, the Devil You Know 6-to-1, the Passing Wife 9-to-1, Money Garrow 12-to-1, Mondui Boy 14-to-1, Espresso Milan 16-to-1, with Kazansky, with Spinning a Yarn, and Jelen Dudery 18-to-1 as it stands, 20-to-1 King's Bucks, Cryptic Jing 22-to-1, Hip Hop de Loire 25-to-1, with Johnny's Jury 28-to-1 bar those. Interestingly, no horse has won the Golden Signet or the Nathaniel Lacey and Partners Solicitors Novices Hurdle at the Dublin Racing Festival, and the Albert Bartlett. Dr. Steinberg bidding to become the first. He is at 3-to-1 at the top of the market. So what has he achieved so far? He feels like a slower burner than I think a lot in the stable would have ideally liked, but they're certainly liking what he's been able to do at this point. Son of Dr. Dino out of a Cyborg mare. He's got a proper jumping pedigree and a proper staying pedigree at that. Paul Townend riding for Willie Mullins. They'll be looking for yet another winner on the week. It's going to be interesting to see if he's able to become the first horse, Rachel, to do the DRF and Cheltenham Festival double. No winner of the Golden Signet has won the Albert Bartlett.
Well, not yet, maybe. He scaled new heights, though, didn't he, winning this Grade 1 at Leopardstown last time out. We've seen Kazansky in there and tackled Tommy Woo Woo.
Yeah, this was him winning on his first try over the 2 mile 6 trip. Obviously, he takes an extra furlong today to go up, but he's a horse that won with a degree of authority, considering the fact that he'd been so keen throughout the race. He completely pulled and dragged the entire way, but yet he still bolted up and pulled away from Kazansky, who's probably beginning to weaken as Dr. Steinberg stretches clear of him. He's a talented type who I probably thought at the start of the season, going into Navan, he actually beat the Devil You Know in a Grade 2 novice there as well, so he's already beaten him in the fields. So
we can actually see that race, and you can tell us more about it.
Yeah, this is actually, Dr. Steinberg actually jumped out and made all it this day, whereas the Devil You Know was actually dropped in. It was very testing ground conditions, as you can see, and possibly maybe track position made the difference on the day. You can see Dr. Steinberg, Danny Mullins on board. He was just starting to go through the motions and pick up, whereas the Devil You Know was starting to close, but he could never actually close that gap too much. You can see Dr. Steinberg, he just kicks into another gear. This was over the 2.5 mile trip, and I think he's excelled the more stamina tests that he has. He's talented, and he seems to really relish these staying distances. The question for me is that he can be keen and pull and drag. I know obviously they're probably going to go a better gallop than what they did in Leopardstown at the DRF when he won that Grade 1. But if he doesn't settle, coming up that hill on testing ground conditions is probably a little bit of a question mark. Like, he has the best form in the race. He sets the standard because he's the only Grade 1 winner in the field. But that's the only slight concern I have with him. And
just watching him there in that VT, he's lugging left onto the rail both times, whereas here they normally do tend to come across right to the stand side on the hurdle track for the final day. And if he is being a little bit keen, if that stamina is starting to ebb up the hill and he starts drifting left, it's a long way across. And he's definitely in a class angle in the race. It's probably a race where he can go each way, I think, with other horses, just in case the prelims.
How tough is this race? Kind of, you talk about the prelims, and you don't want to see any of them kind of melting before the race even starts.
They've got to race very conservatively.
They've a long way to go, isn't it?
And none of these have basically done this test before, because it's generally the first time they try the extended 3 miles. A lot of Willie Mullinses can be keen and they can keep on going, so it's not a total negative. But just watching him back there, the way he did lug left, if you're taking a relatively short price about him, that would be a slight negative. Against that, he has beaten most of the opposition already.
The passing wife, should we take a little look at? I mean, there's a few of them have already raced against each other, as we've seen from a couple of our form clues. This is obviously back in January at Punchestown. You had Dr. de Mesnil in here as well.
Yeah, obviously the passing wife is a horse who has tried, obviously, Grade 1 level over the 2 mile trip, and he's actually trying this test for the very first time. The furthest we've seen him over in the past is 2 mile 3 in this maiden hurl. He obviously comes into this off the back of finishing 5th in a Grade 1 at Leopardstown over 2 mile, and previous to that he actually flew home in the Royal Bond at Fairyhouse, when I thought he was actually quite eye-catching that day. But he lowered his sights for a maiden hurl, and he done it oh so impressively. He was more entitled to win this. Obviously Dr. de Menil reopposes yet again today, but he's a very interesting horse who had entries in a lot of handicaps through the week, but Gavin Cromwell has decided to supplement him for the Albert Bartlett. So I think that's notable in itself.
Massively so.
Yeah, they must think he's definitely going to stay. Interestingly, they did start him off at 2 mile exclusively to start off with. Dr. Menil was actually 5-2 on that occasion, so that was a good effort, and he didn't really come off the bridle to win. Gavin Cromwell knows about this race as well, knows that Hasey's Vanillier still coming back here for more.
Looking at those lists as well, though, I always think when you go back on the last 10 years and to see horses still coming back, like Vanillier for the festival, obviously this is just a starting platform for these. I think Spinning a Yarn, that was a great jumping performance, wasn't it, Lisa?
Yeah, he's a horse I was just speaking to James about off air, and he's a horse I've probably underestimated so far this season, and all he's done is progress and improve. This was obviously a novice hurl at Punchestown the last time we seen him. He ends up having Parnell Street behind him, who keeps him honest all the way to the line. But he's a horse Jack Hendy seems to really like as well, and he's done nothing but go the right direction the whole way through the season. He obviously takes on top class novices for the very first time. I don't think he'll have any problem with the ground, and you can't help but like what he's done so far. But is he good enough for today? He's going to have to go and prove that.
I thought stepping up and trip might just suit him. I can just see Jack being relatively near the front end, and he'll keep grinding it out. Maybe not good enough to win, but I think he'll be in the 3, Spinning a Yarn. I was impressed with how he's progressed with racing so far, and perhaps caught the team a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, and I think the fact that Jack Kennedy has chose him over a couple of others in the field is definitely a big plus.
Yeah, I want to say good morning to our Freeview viewers if you've just joined us. Good to have you with us as we continue our preview Gold Cup Day, and this is the Albert Bartlett. And what about Espresso Milan? Could be a bit of an unknown quantity, absolutely hacked up. Yeah, clear in Thurles and looked a good horse.
Very much so. Patrick Mullins actually takes the ride today on Espresso Milan. Paul Townend was on board him this day in Thurles, where he registered back-to-back wins between a maiden hurl at Punchestown and winning this novice at Thurles on what was probably yielding-ish ground. So I don't think he'll have any issue with today's ground. The only issue I have for him is I think he needs to jump a little bit better. I thought he probably lacked a little bit of respect for a couple of his hurls, but he done this pretty easily on the today, and I think he's shaped as if, for me, he's a horse that will really come into his own when he gets a fence. He's a big, long-striding type, but and looks like a chaser in the making. But you have to be taken with the way he went through that race. But today's much tougher opposition for him.
Yeah, he's in the Nick Rocket colours. I can see him being a proper staying handicap chaser, maybe a bit better than that. I just worry whether the experience might overawe him today. It might just get on the back foot if he makes a few mistakes early doors.
3-1 the field. Dr. Steinberg could be the class horse in the race. Are you going to underestimate your horse again? Are you going to?
No, not for the third time. No.
Come on, Lisa, you'll have learned.
I think, as James mentioned, he's a big each-way player spinning a yarn. Interesting to see a bit of money coming from Money Garrow for the Dan Skelton team. Just watching back his run in Windsor, I think it was the last day, Windsor or Warwick. Apologies. I thought he'd done it quite well, but this is a much stiffer task today, but obviously there's been a bit of each-way play for him in the market.
Yeah, Windsor and Warwick, so you're right on both counts. But,
all the W's, but will it be the big W
I thought he
today?
probably wasn't quite good enough. Out of the English, I actually quite like Mondui Boy. I saw him win at Ludlow. He was a purchase from the David Maxwell dispersal. They actually took quite a bit of time. They didn't run him straight away. They let him go into their routine, so it was quite a late start to his career. It was 15th of January, his first run. But he improved plenty to Ascot, and Ben Paulin likes him, I think, from an each-way angle. Mondui Boy and spinning a yarn, it's kind of more of an each-way race for me.
Well, we could talk about this race as long as they'll take to run it. We might still not get to the winner, but that's our take on the Albert Bartlett here on Gold Cup Day as we head back out on track to Niall and Josh.
The sun is out, the gates open, the people running in like they have done the last couple of days. David Stevens from Coral joins us now, and I'm sure you're smiling more than they are.
Do you know what, Niall? It's been a brilliant festival, various stories, bit of controversy, which never goes down, but the last 2 days in particular have been tough for punters. And I always try and tell, I am a punter as well as working for a bookmaker. It's been tough going. Just going back to yesterday, I mean, a couple of standout results. Wudu obviously had the mare's hurdle at her mercy, and she obliged. And then, for those of us that are old enough, and it doesn't mean you, but means you, unsinkable boxer, Martin Pipe. McCoy says to him, how should I ride this, boss? Doesn't matter how you ride it, it's the biggest certainty I've ever thrown a saddle on. I think Dan must have said something similar to brother Harry Skelton ahead of Supremely West yesterday. I mean, and in fairness to Dan and the team, they've told everyone at every preview about this horse. It was there for all to see, so it wasn't some well-hidden plot. It was a beautifully executed plot. But my point is, punters needed it. I needed it as a punter, because yesterday was really tough going. Home by the Lee, obviously winning at a big price, and Bambino Fever in the first, getting absolutely wiped out. So, yeah, look, we go into this day well ahead, which is kind of in contrast to recent years where punters have had the best of it. We always know on this day, because this is the biggest day of the biggest week. Gold Cup is the second biggest betting race of the year. All the races around it, the Albert Bartlett, the Fox Hunters, will be in the top 10 turnover races for the year. There's something about this day that just gets the juices flowing even more than the first 3 days. And it's a really special day for us at Coral.
And a runner in the Mare's Chase.
We've got our first ever runner at the Cheltenham Festival. Now, she's 100-to-1 outsider. So, are we here for a social day out? Not really. The plan is a race back here next month, so this is a nice sighter for her. But all the glory, as I say, she's going to be great fun for the owners that are here.
Josh fancies one list, don't you?
Yeah, I fancy Only by Night in that for Gavin Cromwell. You won't want to hear that, but it's a competitive mare's chase, isn't it? Because Dan's got Panic Attack, you've got Dino Blue, last year's winner. It looks a really strong race, so it might be a perfect moment to have a sighter.
I can't believe the price of Dino Blue. I mean, she's out to 2-to-1. I thought this was a penalty kick, dare I say it.
Panic Attack,
well, yeah,
she's had.
And about to say, Panic Attack's the one that's been backed. Obviously won the Paddy Power and the Coral Gold Cup. I mean, what a season, and the Grand National still to come, hopefully, for her. And the form of the Scouting Yard, obviously. Not that the Mullins team aren't in great form. But we actually had our 200th runner for the club last night, and it was a winner. John and Sean Quinn, Take a Bow, Phoenix of Dreams. Jason Hart, I mean, anyone saw the 8:15 at Newcastle, literally won by a nostril. So it's a great way to, start what is a brilliant couple of days for the club. But yeah, she's got her work cut out, but it's interesting. As I say, you're one of the many taking on Dino Blue in that race.
Yeah, I just feel that she's gettable. I don't know why. I'm quietly confident. What about the big one, Dave? Yeah. Where's the money going? Is it Gaelic Warrior in the Gold Cup?
Well, look, the very fact that as we stand here now, it's 7-2 each of 3.
Yeah.
Gaelic Warrior, Django Bay and the Jukebox Man. Now that tells you what a brilliantly competitive. and they deserve to be at the head of the betting. Brings in Haiti Couleur. This son, actually, probably not what connections of Haiti Couleur.
But at least he got 12 mils overnight.
Well, absolutely. Coral Welsh national winner. We know Native River's done it. Synchronizer's done it. It's a double that can be done. Last year's winner, I know the way that you're thinking, was the big mover in the last sort of 10 days. He must have been showing plenty at home. And he came into the festival last year without a win to his name that season. So, of course he can do it.
You almost feel that Factorful, them choosing to go to the Ryanair yesterday, I know he didn't run, but that was a big vote of confidence for voucher confidence for I Know the Way Thinking and Spillane Tower.
Absolutely. And Harry Cobden, of course, this is something we're going to be seeing a lot of next year in those silks. Grey Dawning, the fact that Dan is so bullish, but Grey Dawning is a 16-1 shot. That isn't a vote against Grey Dawning. That tells you how deep a race this is. And it's a real cliche, and I will get abuse for it, as I have done already from friends and foes alike. If Harry Redknapp's Jukebox Man wins the Gold Cup, it's a brilliant story. It will cost the bookmakers money short term.
But after the last few days you've had, don't you start crying to us.
No, I'm not going to be crying at all now. Short-term pain for long-term gain. It'd be fantastic. And look, he's got a great chance, as most of them have.
Good stuff. Right, we'll hear from you later on in the main programme. David Stevens from Coral's Wall the Movers ahead of the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
In which Willie Mullins has a very strong hand, doesn't he, Niall, with Gaelic Warrior at the top. And when it comes to the Triumph, he won this back in 2002 with Skolody under Charlie Swan. He's won the last 4 renewals of this race as well and holds a strong hand in winning a 5th straight. And it's been one-way traffic, really, for Willie Mullins, as you can see in the county. But it is the Triumph that he holds probably his strongest hand overall in terms of the last few winners. You've got the likes of Proactive. Mark Walsh will be taking the ride and Selma Davari, which has Paul Townend. Paul Townend, of course, winning this on Lossiemouth and Vauban in 2023-2022, respectively. Mark Walsh on Madgeborough. No Narcisco has. However, he has a more than ready substitute in terms of Proactive. It wouldn't be the kind of price unless there was a lot of confidence behind him. We've only seen him the once in his native island. That was back in Ferryhouse in the middle of January. 5-1 joints at the top with Coral, Proactive and Selma Davari. Minella Study 6-1, flying the flag for Adam Nicol. Ryan Manny taking the ride once again. Highland Crystal 6 as well, 13-2. Marginally behind Maestro Conti, been well talked up by the Skeltons. Harry riding for Dan. Brian Hayes aboard Macho Man, who has formed with one of our joint favourites, 18-1. Apollon de Shani, Patrick Mullins riding a 22-1 shot. Same price for Montcruzet, Harry Cobden taking the ride. North Shore, Keith Donoghue up for Gavin Cromwell, 25-1. 28-1, Sean O'Keefe aboard Kai Lung. And 40-50, Johnny Burke looking for another winner, 40-1 and 50-1 and bigger the rest. So wide open, the JCB Triumph Hurdle. And can the lightly raced Proactive have his mark in this race? He won on debut ahead of Apollon de Shani. In fact, when he was trained in France, he made a successful Irish debut for the Willie Mullins team, beating stablemate Macho Man. And while there's no Narcisco has in this, Rachel, it's a case of next gelding up, and that is Proactive.
Well, he brings an unblemished record to the race, Proactive. We've got Macho Man in here as well. Your take on this performance first, Lisa?
I thought this was good. I thought he was pretty straightforward. I thought he was professional enough about what he'd done as well. Macho Man in behind him. For me, Proactive got the run of the race because he dictated it, he suited it all to his own needs. And for me, Macho Man probably didn't get out from Combs, who's just dropping back off them at an earlier stage than probably he needed to close that gap. But Proactive was kept honest by Macho Man all the way to the line. Decent performance by the winner, decent performance by the runner-up. I think the runner-up has the potential to close the gap.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The runner-up was actually 13-8 favourite. It's 15-8 Proactive. There wasn't much between the pair, and obviously Mark Walsh was going to ride JP's horse. But I do think Macho Man, perhaps because of that defeat, the price differential between the pair on this occasion, 5 and 16s, is too big.
No, definitely. Just watching the race, even you'd think they'd be a lot closer. Willie Mullins has got 9 in it. Greedy. No, we're joking. He's had the last 4 winners. I mean, a great record in it. Paul Tannen's picked Selma Davari.
Yeah, probably no surprise to see that. She's obviously a French recruit for the Willie Mullins team who made her stable debut in Leopardstown, thrown in the deep end in graded company, a grade 1 against Narciso Has. Obviously, the JP McManus team are minus Narciso Has for this Triumph Hurl, who would have been a standout contender for it. But Salma de Very was dropped in on the day. She was also dropped in France, where she was very, very keen. She does wear that hood. I thought she settled a bit better in this race in Leopardstown, and you can see how she comes through the race on testing ground conditions. This was her first run since November time as well. She had won previously in Auteuil, but I liked the way she came through the race. I thought it was pretty nice performance by her, and I think there was loads to like about what she done on the day. She obviously gets that mare's allowance, so she gets £7 off the geldings in this race as well, so that's going to be quite notable. But you have to like what you've seen from that. I thought it was a good performance. All her form is on softer ground. She won't mind the rain at all, and obviously she's the choice of Paul Town. And for me, I seen her in the parade ring in Leopardstown. Thought she looked very unfurnished. I thought she's a lot of developing to do, so that's the only negative I have about her.
And a worry maybe she might be mad keen here with this setup would be my probably.
Yeah, definitely. So I looked at her French form, and even on the flat Romana quarter, it just said restrained in rear, very, very keen. The second hurdle start, she tore through the pack and ended up making the running. She's tricky, and I just felt a big field triumph. They're going to try and drop her out the back and get her settled. From what we've seen on the first 3 days, horses ridden on the front end have generally kept on going. I think she's the most talented at this stage, but I just worry the whole scenario of the race might get to her, and that'd be my worry. I was very strong at the start of the week, but the way the track's been riding, and it is a big field triumph once again, even with the Ponares rule, no newcomers.
And if you can get on the front end, I mean, they don't like to be on the front end.
False starts galore, etc., etc. So she has got that temperament question mark about her. She's out of an authorised mare by Zarak, and she has just looked that bit tricky over in France. Cracking run in Ireland, it's surprised them. She should improve, but mentally, will she improve?
Okay, well, we'll find out. This will be the biggest test of all to see how mentally tough she can be, and hopefully she doesn't, boil over. I think she's obviously got a lot of class. Now, talking of class, how good could Maestro Conti be? The answer could be very, very good. We just don't know.
Yeah, I think this horse has a lot of class about him. I've been very impressed by what I've seen of him so far. He's 3 from 3 over hurls. I love the way he goes through a race. Obviously, he was quite keen at one stage, but he's a horse that's a strong traveller with a high cruising speed, and this was actually him in Cheltenham the last time we seen him, where he actually dropped in here in January to try and get settled and switch off, but he actually didn't switch off. He was I suppose he was travelling very, very strongly throughout. He has a high cruising speed, but I love the way he picks up off that as well, and he stayed really well after pulling quite hard throughout this race. Look, he's 3 from 3 over hurls. He's a course and distance winner here, which is a positive. He handles softer ground conditions as well. And for me, I love the way he jumps a hurl because he's so quick and nimble. And I think he's one of the big British contenders in this.
He's a lovely-looking horse as well. When you see him in the paddock, he's got a bit of size and substance about him. You mentioned the French filly Salma de Very. There might not be a great deal to her at the moment, whereas he's a little bit more of a finished article. I did the Kempton race where he didn't really beat much opposition, but he just did it so easily. I do think the bigger field, a bit more pace on earlier, people want him to be handy. I think it'll be easier for Harry just to get him to race a little bit more economically. And then the way he picked up at Cheltenham last time out, One Horse Town did struggle in the Adonis after that, but I just feel he's a class above the other British horses.
Manila Study would be some story, wouldn't it? Obviously, we've not seen him since December, but very, very good when we saw him in December. And obviously, we've got a couple in here as well. One Horse Town we're going to see again, Wolf Red. And it could be a dream. It could be a dream come true.
Yeah, he's had back-to-back wins so far. Course and distance winner here in December, where he stepped up his form to win the Triumph Trial. And I thought he won in impressive fashion, to be perfectly honest. He pulled well clear of Winston Churchill, who's gone on to frank the form, being runner-up in the Fred Winter. And as you mentioned, Rachel, third was One Horse Town, who reopposes yet again. To me, he's talented, James. He's tactically versatile. He's a lot going for him.
He's a little bit more of a grinder, I think, than Maestro Conti.
He stays
He'll
well.
keep on galloping.
Yeah.
My slight concern, he's a flat horse rated 69. Is he quite got the class for a race like this? And he hasn't been seen for 90 days. They were going to go to Musselburgh, they didn't go. Keeping a horse like that at peak level, especially when you haven't got other horses to compare him to. Be a great story trend on the beach by Adam Nichols. He's done so well with his string so far this year. I just wonder whether this to be a step too far. I'm not sure he's worth that rating of 139. Either way, though, he has Cheltenham form. That has to be crucial.
Yeah, which is key. Right, final thoughts. We leaving one out, do you think, Lisa?
Highland Crystal, I think, has to get a mention. She's been very, very good this season, and you have to like what she done in Naas the last day when she won, beating Saratoga, who was back in third that day. She was actually giving him £7. He went down and bolted up in the Fred Winter. She's so consistent, she's so tough, and I can't see her out of the placings, to be honest.
Okay. I've had a bet on her today already. So there you go.
Yeah, and I liked her at Newbury as well, because second start in quite a big field, a lot of ex-flat horses. It was a relatively rough race for her, so she learnt plenty, and we saw the benefit of that back in the small field at Naas. I think the big field scenario here, she's a contender, and we don't know how good she is. Crystal Ocean's a stallion. It's good that he's got some stars on the ground in his first crop.
All right, is that it? Any more? Because there's so many talented horses in
there.
Who knows with Willie Mullins having 9 in the race? I'm sure one's going to pop up and improve.
Willie Mullins has 2 recruits in this that we've actually only seen in France before, so who knows what they could be capable of. There's loads of unknown quantities in this, but
is the prize heading to Ireland, do we feel?
I think it could be, yeah. Though I have to say the Dan Skelton, Maestro Conti, a big player in this.
Yeah, I concur. Much one is the best of the British, but it's probably going to go across the water.
All right, lovely. Thank you for now, Lisa and James. We're going to head back to the studio, back to Anthony.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm personally looking forward to seeing Manila Study back on the flat. I think a mark of 69. It's an absolute lock at some point, but first, Josh, the small matter of the 4-year-old championship, the JCB Triumph Hurdle. We haven't seen him for 90 days, but what an impression he left visually, and I'm assuming data-wise.
Yes, on the data-wise, you can probably fairly say that Milena Study is the pick of the British form. And let's take a look at that run last time at Course and Distance in December. We picked them up 2 out from home, and it was a really impressive performance from Milena Study this day. Got some of the key figures there. That 107 finishing speed percentage, now that's about on a par with how the Triumph was run last year when Poneros shocked everyone. Look at the jumping, 8.2 there on the jump index. Milena Study improving from previous starts, which have been down in the 7s, and gaining more than 6.5 lengths on the field. And if you're looking for a form boost, well, you've got Winston Jr. there in behind, who placed in the Fred Winter earlier in the week. So plenty to love there. And in terms of how Manila Study has gone through races so far, well, Poneros last year in the Triumph averaged entry speed at hurdles at more than 31 miles per hour. Well, Manila Study is only one of 4 horses in this field to have done that previously over these flights, and has done so in every hurdle start so far. So a very big nod there to Manila Study. You can argue that Maestro Conti, there might be more to come, some improvement there. The time for Manila Study is superior, and you've got to say that was a run in December, so by the same brush, you have to give Manila Study a bit of upside there. Of course, if you're talking about collateral form with the Fred Winter, then Highland Crystal is another one who beat Saratoga last time out and will have appreciated every drop of rain that fell overnight.
Just the 9 for Willie Mullins this year. 11 of the 17, including the winner, Poneros. Just 9 of the 20 that line up in the JCB Triumph Hurdle. All of that to come. Let's head back and join Niall and Josh.
What's it like to lead up a winner at the Cheltenham Festival? This man's done it 29 years ago, wasn't it? Commentary Court?
Yeah, and it was a huge thrill, Niall, so it was. Myself and Ted were here. You came on the plane with Finnegan's Hollow, Theatre World, East the Brack, Comanche Court, 4 of them on the plane.
He won an Irish National, didn't he?
They did 2 of them won. Finnegan's Hollow fell when Cantering, and Theatre World was second.
Yeah, he was placed Theatre World a couple of years in a row, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, a good few years, yeah, but that was when horses used to fly to Cheltenham. They all come on the boat now.
Yeah, Norman Williamson on board him.
Yeah, Norman on board. Went to the last between Jamie Osborne, Richard Johnson and Richard Dunwoody.
Yeah, great memories, great memories. Good memories from yesterday, enjoy it?
I thought it was good racing, yeah. I did great. I thought JJ was very good and home by the lead.
Yeah.
Booted him into it at the top of the hill, put him in the race. Surprise result in the first, but Tom Bellamy gave that a great ride too, didn't he? Yeah, it was good racing all in all. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I thought the same. John Bond keeps his record, doesn't he? Hartwood was very good though, put it all together.
He did put it all together, and Dara and he got a sniff of a chance at the top of the hill, parked jump on a pocket, and it was all over then, wasn't it?
Henry de Brum had 10 years in a row he's trained the winner here.
Ah, yeah, and but even when you look back at some of those horses, you look back at some of his champion chase winners, you wonder, how did he do that?
Size in Europe. Oh, yeah. Size in Europe. No.
Some of the other ones,
No, absolutely. It's a bit like dodging bullets, but, for Paul Nichols.
Well, one of the big talking points is obviously Cabral de Matan came to the last looking like the likely winner. How demoralising is it when a horse just doesn't find after the last?
I don't think it's that demoralising. I think if you go too soon and one you get beat, it's demoralising. But when you produce one at the last and it doesn't stay. Yeah. I wouldn't think it's demoralising at all. It's a different emotion. He doesn't stay. I have my doubts about him staying, but the only thing I got right this week. But no, I wouldn't consider that demoralising. Honestly, it's a different feeling. When you go too soon in one or you get there too late in one, that's demoralising.
They were quickly back, weren't they, with Supremely West in the attempts.
Bolted in,
Very impressive.
It's hard today, isn't it? Willie Mullins, he's 9 in the Triumph. He's a strong hand all day, isn't he?
Strong hand all day. I like Proactive in the first. I think he's improved a good bit since Fairyhouse. I liked what he did in Fairyhouse. He improved through the race when he beat Macho Man. Obviously, Paul rides Salma Davari. I wonder, will she get all the way up the hill on the new course? I don't know.
What, win a Gold Cup? Easy question.
Gaelic Warrior for me. I think it's a cracking Gold Cup, but I just think, I think Troparain won't have done him any harm. I think he got 3 miles as a 5-year-old. I could see it. What do you fancy?
Well, there's so many horses in there. Who do you think Gaelic Warrior's biggest danger is? Is it himself almost?
I don't think so. With the fresh ground on the new course, you'd be able to park him down the inside and switch him off. I don't think so. I think there's plenty of runners in it. Django Boy, Jukebox Man, Haughty Killor, even Grey Dawn and Spillane Tower. I think it's a good contest.
I think Spillane Tower will run well. Could do,
yeah.
Could improve for it.
Yeah, definitely could. Definitely could.
Start? You going to be a starter next year?
No, just invent the mechanism. And it's not even like there's no point in blaming Robbie Supple and his team either. It's not their fault. But like, we're using the same mechanism they've been using for 50 years. Like,
it's not working.
No evolution, no.
Yeah. We'll get in touch with AI. That's the new thing, isn't it?
That's that, yeah. How to start a race.
Yeah. Right, good stuff. Thanks to Ruby. He'll be along later on in the afternoon with thoughts for Lydia after racing.
Mark your card. Proudly sponsored by Timeform.
We're here at the Coral Fan Derby, and just listen to that roar! And watch this, he's shaking his phone like it's a pocket-sized maraca. Oh, that's a free bet! Tasty! She's shaking it too, another free bet! There's 100,000 free bets to be won every day this Cheltenham Festival. Play Coral's free reward shaker to win guaranteed rewards and special offers. And for new customers, get £30 in free bets when you bet £5. Oh, that's rewarding! Coral, we're here for it.
Some breaking news to bring you, albeit not necessarily surprising news. Spillane Tower won't be going on the quick ground that is on offer at the Cheltenham Festival this afternoon. He is out of the 4 o'clock. The Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup hasn't been risked on the ground, if you will, before, and the connections are keeping tack, especially with comments made by both owner the owner, JP McManus, yesterday. So no real surprise. Spillane Tower, unfortunately, out of the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. Earlier in the afternoon, we look at the county. And the William Hill County Handicap Hurdle, the Premier Handicap, at 2 o'clock, has been dominated by 2 trainers in the last 10 years. If your name's not Willie Mullins or Dan Skelton, you've rarely got to look in. Belfast Banter, the outlier in 2021, winning for Kevin Sexton and Peter Fahey. And horses with more than 11 stone, just 3 winners in the past 10 years. Arctic Fire, 11 stone 12, very much an outlier in that respect. Chitabello in 2019, 11 stone 5. And last year, Cargesi, who has proven herself to be right at the top draw, 11 stone 3 just last year. Paul Town and Willie Mullins looking for a 3rd win on the bounce in this contest as well. They are responsible for Carbo, 6-year-old who we likely haven't got to the bottom of yet, 9-2. Very competitive, as you'd expect. The Skeltons are represented by Sinatra, who's been in sparkling form this season, warmed up with a good winner at Warwick at the back end of February. Joyeuse, Nico de Boinville 9-1 with Secret Squirrel 10-1. Mercia, Willful 11-1. Hello Neighbour 12-1 with Teller the Name. 6.5 14s. Bowen's on Fire 16s with Jubilee Alpha. Absurd 20-1, ridden by Patrick Mullins this time. Sean Bowen is on Stick to the Plan at 25-1. And then Darby 28-1. A big ride for Josh Williamson, claiming the 5 33-1. So wide open in the county. Let's find out exactly what the guys think of on track. I can't make heads or tails out of this, Rachel.
Oh, I never can. But luckily, I've got the two best in the business alongside me, James and Lisa. Is it a race that you've had good success in the years gone by?
I actually had a little each way nibble on Nadawi last year, who actually finished second last year. He reopposes again today. Massive price, 28-1. I know he's got a really big weight on his back because he won the Galway Hurl during the summer, but he's been third in the county. He's been second in the county. I don't think he can win off that weight, but I do think he's an each way player.
By the Lee yesterday.
Yeah,
you
true.
Keep try again. I feel you've got a big prize winner for us in this race, James.
Tell her the name. Going back to the Skelton angle, it's not the one ridden by Harry, but Keelan Woods is the retained rider for the Megsons. First start for the Skeltons this time around. 2 years ago, he was quite a contender for the Supreme. It didn't go to plan. They actually then put him in training with Ed Dunlop. He didn't run on the flat. They thought he was really, really quick. Chasing didn't go to plan on the debut back in October. He did bleed. The O'Neills obviously shut down for a couple of weeks, but I just thought, yes, Mullins and Skelton dominate this race. It's the first run for the Skeltons. They've not gone anywhere else apart from this race. I thought he was overpriced from an each way point of view, but it's a tricky one.
It's really tricky. Let's take a look at a few of them. You mentioned the Skelton angle, and of course we've always got the Willie Mullins angle as well. What about Mercia? Good enough at Aintree to land a grade one. This was definitely the career highlight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. There's no doubt about that. She did line up here for the Fred Winter, where she actually carried top weight, but she made up for that when she got grade one glory at Aintree last year. Good performance by her. I think she is a highly talented juvenile back in her day, but the question is, we haven't seen that level of form from her this year so far. I know she returned from a break at Fairyhouse when she was given weight to all her rivals, but I don't think she was at the same level. Maybe she needed the Fairyhouse run, but she went on to Leopardstown then for a handicap where she was kept wide the whole way, maybe for better ground.
Is that because she's so small though?
Possibly.
They just try and not get her crowded like she did in the Fred Winter. I know, I guess she ain't very big, and Willie's like, as long as they've got the heart and the size sideways, but just looking at there, she looked very small against the 4-year-olds. I just worry, has she not trained on, particularly from 4 to 5?
That's the biggest question I think I would have concerning Mercia, because she was very good in Aintree, but this year, I think from what we've seen of her so far, I think you have to question if she's actually trained on and developed. And obviously, like we'll talk about Carbo in a moment, but Willie Mullins has won the last 3 renewals of this race, but Paul Townend has been on all of those.
Right, and Carbo, let's talk and see Carbo. Paul Townend on board, as you've mentioned, beaten a length in the Limestone Lad at Naas on return. James, you giving him a chance?
Yeah, definitely a chance. My big concern is that you go back to the Supreme of a year ago, struggled, beat 45 lengths. I don't like horses that disappoint at Cheltenham because it is very much a specialist course. Those that come back time and time again are the ones I want. The third at Aintree Punchestown was strong, probably needed this, I'd say, Lisa.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Glenn Klein was having a good season and fitting well. I just thought got out-battled, probably due to conditioning rather than anything else. Paul Town doesn't even ride in the handicaps very often at the festival. The fact he's chosen Carbo is why the market's so strong. I just got that niggling down the back of my mind, the Supreme run. It was so below par compared to what the festivals at Aintree and Punchestown achieved.
Yeah, as James mentioned, the fact this is actually Paul Townend's only ride in the handicap this week. So that alone, I think, suggests that they think this has a really, really good chance. And I know you were disappointed with the way he ran in the Supreme, but I thought he ran reasonable in Aintree and in Punchestown when he ran with plenty of credit to be third in 2 Grade 1s novices last season. They were both on better ground as well, but that was a decent effort on his return to action in Naas the last day, and I think there's going to be big improvement from that. He's got 11.8 on his back, which is 4 pounds above his Irish mark, but very much respected with Paul Townend on board.
Yeah, definitely. And what about the likes of Sinatra? Warwick win, we can see an interesting handicap newcomer, and we've talked about the yard, haven't we?
Yeah, now his defeats in Novice Company have come behind Active Innocence, second in the Turners, and Captain Hugo won the Morbado at Kelso, so they were good horses that he ran against. Here, the horse that he's just sweeping on by, Four Springs, was actually 10-1 for the EBF final at Sandown on Saturday. He didn't perform, but he's won this on the bridle, showing he's got a serious engine, and he actually settled better. My worry would be in a big field, mentally, would he take and settle well enough? But I do think he's a very nice horse that's much better than his handicap mark, and we've seen that with the Skeltons time in, time out. He had to go to Warwick to get the 5 runs, the state man rule that came in, so they've plotted this a fair way out.
Yeah, I think this has been a target for them. I think that was probably a relatively uncompetitive race in Warwick the last day, and he was entitled to win it. He was much superior on the day, but he's a horse that's a strong traveller as well, as James has mentioned. He drops back in trip today. I just wonder, does he have the experience in big field handicap? He lacks the experience in big field handicaps, and that's a little bit of a worry, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the field sizes in the UK that they can, you know, apply their trade early on, like in Ireland. And we're going to take a look very quickly at the betting once again then for this William Hill County Handicap Hurdle, with Carbo 9-2, 11-2 for Sinatra, Joyos 9-1, along with Secret Squirrel.
Just mention him because he actually shaped quite nicely in the Kingwell. He had a horrible fall when last seen at the end of last year, so it was very much a confidence booster. He's got solid handicap form, so I wouldn't be ruling him out either for Hughie Morrison.
He's class. He's so gorgeous as well. I mean, he's just so striking, so flashy, and they've done incredible to get him back. We were there, weren't we, at Wincanton, and yeah, he definitely ran a really big race. Is Gordon anything good enough in here?
Yeah, Bowen's on Fire and Nadawi's also in this as well. They're both two horses that have, Bowen's on Fire particularly has done really well throughout this season, but he's at a career high mark. He's got to improve again to get involved, and Nadawi, he's shown up year after year. He's got a stiff task at the weights he's got, but I think he's a big each-way player if you can get some betting companies to pay out even 4 or 5 places.
Okay, I'm sure we can find 1 or 2 maybe here at Cheltenham. All right, that's it for now for us. We're going to head back over to Josh and Niall. Let's find out where they are.
I haven't backed the Jukebox Man today. I hope he wins, not for Harry Redknapp, not for Ben Pauling, but for Ben Jones, because if he does win, he can get new shoes.
Look at these.
What on earth? The suit isn't great, but the shoes are horrendous.
Well, each to their own opinion, I think, isn't it?
I know, but most people will agree with me there.
I got out of the car and there's a muddy patch, and I made sure I wasn't going to stand in those anyway.
How long do you like them? Well, how long were you up for last night polishing those?
Well, a bit of elbow grease gets the shine right out.
Congratulations on yesterday. Meeting by the Sea was awesome. That must have been some feeling. Your 3rd festival winner.
Yeah, look, coming into the week, all you want to do is ride winners, and like, it was a steady first couple of days, and I think Meet Me by the Sea was my first proper chance, and yeah, everything just went swimmingly, and couldn't believe the run I had. He jumped brilliant, and when I gave him a kick coming down to the last, he picked up nicely.
And going for the Jukebox Man today, how important, we always talk about it in football or in horse racing, whatever, you know, getting a win the day before, it's a massive win. You know, if you didn't have a ride today, you're a Cheltenham Festival winner again this season. You've had a great season already, but to get that's fantastic. But just to relax everybody more, the staff, the trainer, yourself, you know, confidence.
Confidence is everything in this game, and like you said, having the winner yesterday, it's just settled everyone down a little bit, and I think one way of looking at it is probably a bad way, but if nothing went right today, we'd still come away from the week well, but like that's not good enough in my eyes. I'll be hoping to bag another one at least today, and hoping it's the big one.
And what's your thoughts on me and Josh have been talking about? It's a wide open Gold Cup, but you're a King George winner with a few of them behind you, so you've got to come in confident.
Yeah, look, confidence is everything, like we said. I wouldn't swap my lad for any of the others, but a lot of the other jockeys wouldn't swap their mounts either, you know. So I think if any horse went and won, you wouldn't be all that shocked. It's a very, very open Gold Cup, and yeah, I'm just delighted to be on the Jukebox Man, and hopefully we can be there 2 out and let the best horse win.
When you look at the list of horses he's running against, which is the one name that you're slightly more worried about than the rest of them? Is it the King George form you're focusing on? Are you taking into account the Irish? How do you judge Gaelic Warrior? Which one is the one that you're particularly worried about?
Well, there's obviously a few. I think you got to look at Mullins only running one. Obviously Gaelic Warrior, they got a lot of trust and faith in him. Like he's an obviously genius man, so you'd obviously have to be a bit worried about that. I think Hattie Culler's has come under the radar a little bit now. He's actually getting a bit of light that he should have had. And if he gets in a brilliant rhythm and he goes a good gallop and takes this thing out of our slot, then he could play a massive factor as well.
I think Sean will try and turn it into a bit of a war.
I think so.
Well, Rain, you know the horse well.
Yeah, and like he obviously stays further. He's going to have to step up another level, I think, but why can't he?
You see over the years, cool ground, synchronised. A lot of them have come through that path, Josh.
Yeah, Native River as well.
Yeah,
I think he was beaten in the race and then went and won the Gold Cup. Did he give you the feel of a real soft ground, thorough stayer when he won the National Hunt Chase last year? Or was he more of a, you think he could deal with the conditions today?
To be honest, his class showed that day. He just lobbed, jumped, and I put the race to bed at 2 out. I just had to get over the last. Looking back at it now, if I didn't win on him, then it was going to be silly. He was extremely well handicapped. But yeah, his class showed that day, and when he went over to Ireland, all he did was jump and gallop that day as well. So he's a good horse for the Welsh to have a runner. And
we wish you all the very best, and Diva Luna as well has a chance. So fingers crossed, Jukebox Man could get it done. Not for Harry Redknapp, for this young lad to get a new pair of shoes.
I wouldn't take fashion advice personally from Niall Hannity, but to each their own. Ben Jones, who rides the Jukebox Man in the Biddle's Cheltenham Gold Cup, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Before that is the Mrs. Paddy Powers Mare's Chase, which has been completely emerald green since its inception. The newest race of the Cheltenham Festival, first run in 2021. Colreevy taking the first renewal for Paul Tannen and Willie Mullins. Willie Mullins backing it up with Ellie May in 2022. Then Impervious, that big winner for Colin Murphy. Brian Hayes riding in 2023. Limerick Lace beating Dino Blue in this under Keith Donoghue for Gavin Cromwell. But Dino Blue getting her head in front last year. Mark Walsh for Willie Mullins, same combination with Ellie May. This is her 4th trip to the festival, Dino Blue, looking to go back-to-back and the first horse to do it. She was beaten when a favourite in the Grand Annual back in 2023. Then she was beaten in this race by her owner mate, but last year she put it all together. She's had a similar kind of prep to what she had last year, recently bolting up in the Opera Hat at Naas under the graded penalty. She's 2-1 to become the first back-to-back winner of the Mrs. Paddy Power Mare's Chase. 11-4 Panic Attack heading the British charge. Dan Skelton particularly bullish about his mare's chances, and why wouldn't it be? What a season it's been. Spindleberry very interesting back in mare's company as well, having been pulled up in the Irish Gold Cup, 11-2. 8-1 Diva Luna, a sneaky each-way chance at least. Ben Jones, you just heard from. July Flower, the novice, taking on her elders, 9-1 for Darrow Keefe and Henry de Bromhead. Only by night. Keith Donoghue up at 10-1. A big gap to the rest. Telepathique for Lucy Wadham and Tom Cannon, 50-1. Piper Park, 80. Stan Shepherd taking the ride. And John Joe O'Neill Jr., well, this day last year, he rode 100-1. Poneros to take the triumph. It would be quite the shock if All the Glory was to take the Mrs. Paddy Power Mare's Chase. Dino Blue, solid at the top of the market, Rachel. Not hard to see why this is her in winning action last year. And her prep's been pretty faultless this year.
Well, it was great to see her do it, wasn't it? Because she was runner-up 2 years ago to Limerick Lace and went to one better on this occasion, and she's back for more.
She is back for more to regain her title yet again. Dino Blue obviously was up against Limerick Lace again in this race last year, but Limerick Lace didn't really show up, and we lost Allegory Devassi, her nearest rival, at the last fence, and probably flattered a little bit by the margin of the win because of losing Allegory Devassi. But you can't knock what she's done. She's a decent mare who's won a Grade 1 over 2 Mile 1 at Leopardstown in open company. She was emphatic enough on last year's success. She's reliable, she's consistent, and this was her in Naas on really testing ground conditions. The last time we seen her, Bioluminesce obviously in the back a shot there as well. They were both on level weights this day. To me, she's at her best on better ground. I don't think she'll mind the rain that's fallen. The fact that they're still good in some of the ground description will certainly be to her advantage, but I think this is her level. I find it hard to oppose her, but I don't know how you feel, James.
Yeah, so I'm very happy to go for Panic Attack, but actually just watching her back, I forgot how athletically but quite small she is. She's got a great jump on her, but there isn't much size to her, and I think your point probably about the ground, she bounced off the quick ground, whereas I was a little bit disappointed about the comeback. The only time she's really been tested this year was behind Founder 50, but might have just been too tests in the ground, she might have needed it. Same race she won a year ago heading into this contest, but I just felt last year it wasn't a great contest, and I got Avasi obviously was beat, but was only a couple lengths down at the last. Panic Attack for me has been transformed by the Skeltons. I saw her win the Paddy Power, and she looked fit, and that was her Gold Cup. And then 2 weeks later to come out and win the Labrooks, where she set up in trip, she saw it out very well. I just think she's a big improver. She cost a lot of money from Willys actually in the first place. She's a daughter of Camper Cliffs. She won a bump of a Willie. I think she then joined the Pipe team. But she has just improved and improved. A little bit like Dina Blue, she had a nice run round at Newbury, 4-1 on. We didn't learn anything apart from the fact she's in great form. But the Skeltons this week, they've been so good at targeting races, and I just felt she's a potential, the hardest horse that Dina Blue's had to take on in Mayor's company, anyway, I think.
It's been notable progression, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she's had a fantastic season. She gets £3 off Dino Blue as well, so that's going to be a big bonus for her. She's just gone from strength to strength. I don't think she'll mind the rain that's fallen at all. She does drop back in trip, but we've seen her win over this trip before also. So I echo a lot of James's thoughts. I think she's a massive player in this. Yeah, for the Skelton team, who've had a good week so far.
Absolutely, and I think it was amazing the fact that to win the race here and then go and win back-to-back handicaps, really, really impressive. Diva Luna, you mentioned, shall we take a look at her in action? She's been a dream, actually.
Her jumping has been good to watch for a novice. She's only had the 2 goes. This was the second of those at Warwick. I loved her banger debut. Joyeuse, who hasn't taken the chasing, was thoroughly put in her place. Queen's Gamble, who's a nice chaser for Harry Durham. That was a good run. She hasn't learned a great deal in this second start, which might be the negative, taking on a horse like Panic Attack, who's had those big handicap forms, and Dina Blue over the years, all this experience. But looking at her, she's a proper chaser. She was third in the Mayor's Novice. Blue Lass, I did the extra race, that one that beat Fun next time out, and Blue Lass couldn't hold a candle to her. So she's interesting, and we don't quite know her level yet. Whether she's experienced enough is the question mark, but I've really liked what I've seen so far.
Yeah, last season wasn't straightforward for her by any means, but this season she's 2 from 2 over fences. She took a small bit of a chance at one fence in Warwick, but ultimately I thought she was pretty good over her fences. She was foot perfect over the final 3 fences, and she sealed the deal pretty easily on that day. The only concern for me is the fact that she's taking probably on more experienced rivals today, so she lacks a bit of experience compared to a couple of others. But we don't know where her ceiling lies over fences, and she's taken to them really, really well. She won't mind a dig in the ground either, and the fact that she's a bit of course form here, being 3rd in the Mayor's Novice last year, is also going to be a tick in the box for her.
Final thoughts then?
We got a couple of 2-milers in there. The Irish Raiders, July Flower and Only by Night. The race could determine how much speed they try and use, whether they ride them conservatively to stay. I don't think either of them will stay, but it might set the race up for Panic Attack, who we know stays a little bit further. And I'm hoping there is a little bit of pace on just to bring that stamina into play.
Yeah, I think Only by Night is an interesting one that deserves a mention, because she was runner-up in Anarchal here last year, and she was just touched off on the line by Django Bay. Obviously, she won at Naas on her return to action, and then she went to Leopardstown for the DRF when she was almost wiped out by Marine Nationale when he made that brutal mistake. But she takes on a new trip for the first time, which obviously is very interesting to see how she can acquit herself over this trip, and the fact that she's the cheek pieces, which were on the last day, back on yet again today. I think she just deserves a bit of a mention, because she could certainly be on the premises, and if she was, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and she definitely would if you didn't mention her. That's how it goes. Lovely, thank you. And we're going to head back now, find Josh and Niall.
Never too early for a glass of wine or a bit of venison. Where have you brought us today, Neil?
Well, I brought us along to the 480 restaurant. Got an absolutely fantastic view of the racing from here. You can actually see them just coming around the home turn up the straight here. And we're very excited because we've got lots of wonderful food to enjoy during this piece. And 480 is all about local as well, which is great.
It's an amazing setting here, watching it out there. The 480 restaurant. Warren, what's the story behind the 480 concept?
So basically, about 4 or 5 years ago, myself and Laurie, who sat there, we decided to go on a road trip around Gloucestershire and the surrounding counties to see what produce we have. And we were surprised at how much produce we could get and how much local food is out there, from oils, cheese, meat, everything. So we decided to bring this concept to Cheltenham and start exploiting what we have around Gloucestershire.
Okay, what have we got from around Gloucester, Laurie? We'll bring you in.
We've got cheese from Simon Weaver Brie. We've got the bread rolls from our local bakery in Cheltenham, the Three Chimneys Bakery. We've got vegetables from Evesham and venison, obviously, as well, which is what we're trying to highlight today.
But the 480 is important because it's 480 furlongs away. All of the produce is grown or produced within 480 furlongs.
That's correct, yeah, 60 miles. Yeah.
That's quite incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a quick translation, wasn't it, actually?
Lawrence, we've got venison here as well, and you're really pushing it this week. What makes this wild venison so special?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head there with wild, actually, because the wild term means there's no human intervention right up until there's human intervention at the end, yeah. And it's local, it's as Cotswold and Oxfordshire venison. It's really, really pushing it because of the low carbon emissions, 80% less than beef, and it's also much healthier. It's a leaner meat, and there's a lot more nutritional value to it as well. So for the last few years, we've had it on in themed restaurants and other places, but today we're actually trying it across site. We're doing 5,000–6,000 covers of it across site, so that's 3.5 tons of venison. But what we particularly like about it is that we've been able to use the whole carcass. So the prime cut is obviously what we're serving today for most of our customers, but all the trimmings have been used to make our burgers. We've diced up the leg meat and we've been using that as our braised dish in our buffets. And we've made sausages out of it for some of our other buffets as well.
It looks so tasty, doesn't it?
Well, it does look so tasty, and I think it's actually great what you're doing with the whole of the venison, isn't it? That's what's really great, because I've been tasting the burgers, for example. Well, I've been eating all 4 days, really.
Yeah. What are we washing down with?
Yeah, well, actually, Niall's ready. By the way, it's Niall's birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday, Niall.
He's ready to get in there. So I should tell you what we're doing. I was going to ask you to describe the dishes, but he's the birthday.
No, go on.
Talk us through the dishes, Laurie.
So with the venison today, we've got just a nice mashed potato, some parsnip crisps on the top, and it's cloudberry jus, which is a sweet jus to go with it. So it's very similar to lamb. So we would be putting red currant jelly and stuff with it as well.
Sure.
So it'll take that sweetness, and we've put a beetroot, roasted beetroot and some vegetables to go with it.
Beautiful presentation, and just talk us through the other 2 dishes as well.
That's our Cheltenham pudding, which has become a bit of a classic, particularly for this restaurant.
Which the crew here will eat afterwards, by the way.
I'm sure they will.
Well, 20 seconds. That's if I don't get there first.
That was a recipe that Warren found on the internet. Not on the internet, he obviously created it himself.
AI generated.
And then the Simon Weaver Brie is toasted in the with some toast and stuff like that, you know, for the starter, yeah.
We're looking forward to tasting that, but also what we're going to taste as well. We've got 2 wines here. We've got a Wild Garden Chenin Blanc. Come on, Noel, you've got to get in there. We're going to go in here.
I'm trying to be polite.
And from South Africa, it's nice and easy drinking, great to go with a starter here, but also...
Warren hasn't got any. Why have you not got any?
I'll go with the
really fresh, simple, and also straight, and really like Chenin Blanc from South Africa. And then we're going to head off to Australia for Shiraz. Remember Shiraz, everybody. It's great, fantastic grape variety. I think we've kind of forgotten about it a bit. This is sort of medium, but fantastic for the venison as well.
Beautiful.
I could definitely have a good day on that.
Yeah, you can have a good day. Josh is staying here all the time.
Yeah, right. Let's have a toast to the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Cheltenham Gold Cup.
And to your birthday.
And to your birthday now.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Cheers.
I'm sure it was just the present that Niall wanted on his birthday as well. So from haute cuisine to the height of National Hunt horse racing, let's have a look at the Timeform race of the day. The Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup chase, the Grade 1, the blue ribbon of the National Hunt season is at 4 o'clock. It's over 3 miles, 2 furlongs and 70 yards. Here's how Timeform rate them up. Gaelic Warrior, clear at the top, 183. I know the way you're thinking, 181, but with that question mark next to it. Is it a suspect rating? Are the Jukebox Man and Django By capable of improving on 179 and 178 respectively? Timeform say so. 177 apiece, Grey Dawning and 80 Couleur. The Old Boy, Envoi Allen, 175. The not quite as old boy, L'Homme Presse, but still 11, 174. Firefox, 172. And Gold Tweet, way off them, the French Raider, 158. This is all going to come down to pace, you would imagine. And there are plenty of potential pace scenarios in here. It's just how many of them will go forward. The Jukebox Man expected by Timeform to be right up there from the beginning. No surprise there, and no surprise if 80 Couleur was to do the same. Should he be able to show the pace to get up there from the get-go and benefit from a good position? L'Homme Presse expected not to be too far away from them either. To head to post, we've got a field of 10 now without Spillans Tower. How do Timeform see it? 1, 2, 3 wise. I'm in full agreement with them. I think Django By wins the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. They've gone for Gaelic Warrior to show his class, but not quite classy enough to take this contest. And the Jukebox Man to run a respectable race back in third. Django By for Timeform and in the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup, the Timeform race of the day. But as Josh Kerr was saying a little bit early on, it's a fairly rare double these days. The Kempton King George and the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. Ben Pauling, Ben Jones and Harry Redknapp looking to buck that trend. And they'll be fairly confident that they're going there with a big chance.
Feels like a real cycle of you've got Jukebox Man and Handstands, kind of the slightly, or the open Grade 1 horses leading the way. And as you say, a plethora of so many exciting young novices in the hurdles and the chasing sphere. But the Jukebox Man's win in the King George was the first open Grade 1 win of your career. You'd obviously had Grade 1 winners in novice races. Did that feel like a real monkey off the back?
I don't think it did, because we'd never had an opportunity to win one before.
But it's interesting, because I think afterwards in the interview, you said, we thought we'd come here with a good chance, but we thought he'd run well.
Yeah.
Was there a feeling before that day then, you weren't 100% sure, maybe because you hadn't done it before, that he was definitely going to go and win something like a King George?
There's two ways of looking at it. I don't think it was a monkey off our back, because actually Handstands was our first ever runner in our 13th season in an open Grade 1 in the Betfair. And he ran very, very well for a long way, and then just in hindsight had a breathing issue at the home straight, and that explained a lot. And he ran brilliantly well at in the Fleur de Lis, giving weight away, and I was delighted with Sunday. But the Jukebox Man, I suppose, was the second. And it was just touted to be the best King George we'd seen for so long. The horses in it were quite clearly proper Grade 1 proven horses, Gaelic Warriors, Banbridges. There were a lot of very, very good horses. And it was going to take an extraordinary run to compete. But to win it, we on ratings had to find £20. We believed he could do it. We believed he was good enough. And I suppose the only thing to me was if he wasn't good enough, then, oh, golly gosh, what was going to be? I was going to have to go back to the drawing board and think, where are we going now? What's going to be better than Jukebox? Because he is a talented horse with a lot to look forward to. But it was an amazing day. It was fabulous to be part of the race. It was even better to come out on top in such a close finish. And I can't wait to see how we get on the rest of the season, because some people might think he's now a Kempton specialist. I'd possibly say he's not suited to Kempton that well. And
what makes you say that?
From the back of 3 out, he looked like he could win it by 4 or 5. He was going the best. Ben had got him in a fabulous position. He quickened up to 3 out, winged it, and I thought, now you go away. And they quickened the calibre of the race. They all quickened together. Actually, he then looked flat out. and it was only for a bit of his guts and determination to get back up after the last, which won him the race. I wouldn't say. I just think he can gallop at a strong pace for a long time, and he's only going to get better with a bit further.
When you have a massive contender in a race like the King George, the noise is always going to be huge. What pressure did you feel leading up to that race?
There was no. I didn't feel any pressure from the outside world, the press, the media, nothing like that. I just had a personal pressure just to have him spot on. That was my job, to have him spot on. If he didn't win because he wasn't good enough, that was okay. But it would have been disappointing, or if he'd not been competitive. But the pressure I probably put on myself was to have him absolutely spot on. And I think we could confidently say that we felt we did. Ben Jones genuinely said that he probably took a little bit of a blow going to 2 out, and that we could improve again. So we'll make sure we put another couple of pieces into him for March. But yeah, we won't be far away.
What is it about him and how he felt in the King George that makes you think Cheltenham, the Gold Cup's right for him?
Well, first of all, I've never ridden in the Gold Cup, so I can't say he's 100% a Gold Cup horse or whatever. It's only my opinion. I think from word go, it's just been his class that has always been a level above others that I've been riding, and the way he goes through his races, he just finds everything so effortless, and just lobs and jumps and just gets in a brilliant rhythm every time. And I think the faster, like the King George, we thought we were going to go very fast. We didn't in the end, but I think that whatever speed we go in the Gold Cup, he'll be able to just lob and jump and get in a good rhythm. And I genuinely think he is an out-and-out stayer, even though that he has got a bit of speed about him as well.
But that is the question mark that punters and racing fans will be wanting to know your thoughts on. You say you've not ridden a Gold Cup horse or ridden in the Gold Cup, but you've ridden top-class staying chasers. You've won Coral Gold Cups and all sorts. You get the impression that he is an out-and-out stayer, and 3 miles 2 will be right up the street.
Yeah, I think the way I probably look at it is that you look at the Quarter Stars and stuff, they won over 2 mile and then they won a Gold Cup. Like, it's just the class. And I think he genuinely could run over 2 mile, and I do believe that he will stay 3 mile 2 as well. Having
an association with a Gold Cup candidate and one that's going to be quite a short price for the biggest race, arguably, of the season, does that give you a bit of extra motivation to get up nice and early in the mornings? Yeah, well, it's always been an early start here when I'm riding now. But yeah, look, to have a Gold Cup contender, to have a ride in it, let alone a contender, it's brilliant. And we're obviously a couple of months away now, so we'll just keep our head down and get through the next couple of months, and then look forward to it when we get into March. And if he gets there in one piece, what will it feel like for you as an achievement, just going down to the post in a Gold Cup? Because that's what young jockeys dream of. Yeah, it'd be a massive achievement, and I think we won't really have. Well, I'll find not much pressure really, because he's already gone and won a Gold Cup, really. You know, with the King George. So it's a massive race, and now we can just kind of sit back and enjoy him and let him show us how good he actually is.
The last race of the festival is the Martin Pipe Conditional Jockeys Handicap Hurdle. 7 horses have won this in 18 renewals and have gone on to win a Grade 1 in their careers. Woodoo being the latest just yesterday in the Mayor's Hurdle. You go down by the likes of Champagne Classic, Galopin de Champs and Banbridge. And a little bit before that, the likes of Sir Deschamps, Kilotovic and Don Poli as well. What do we have in here that might